Good morning, everyone. Let me apologize for my voice. Ragweed is not my friend, and my allergies are really bad, and hopefully my voice is going to make it through. I am Lisa White, the principal here at Mary Kay Good. Very excited to have everyone here watching today, and those of you that are joining us later on, I hope this information find it valuable for you with returning back to school here at Mary Kay Good. First, Mr. Weinberg, our assistant principal, is unable to attend today. He's attending a training, so he does apologize for not being able to be here today. Let me just say up front that I will not be at this presentation be discussing masking and social distancing at this point. That is something that will be discussed first later on today at a discussion that the school committee is having, as well as tomorrow at the school committee meeting. So those are two items that will not be discussed during this time. So, moving forward, welcome to our Mary Kay Good new student orientation. Next slide, and thank you to Mr. Siciliano, who's kind of backstage, and he's kind of the Vanna White to my presentation, so thank you for your time. So, some staff information for you. As I said, I am the principal, Lisa White, our assistant principal, Jonathan Weinberg. We have two special education coordinators, Kim Redlawn, which handles K through 3 in our special programs, and Laura Mansfield, who handles grades 4 and 5. Our school psychologist is Jennifer Rusher, and our school adjustment counselor is Brittany McHugh. Our school nurse is Kelly Santos, and our secretaries are Lynn Sullivan and Joy Deggendorf. And those are the faces you'll see around town, probably the first people you'll encounter when coming to Mary Kay Good. So teachers spend the first few weeks of school focusing on getting students comfortable at MKG. This includes learning routines in the classroom, becoming acclimated to MKG and the common areas, and learning our expectations. It's important that students feel safe and secure and comfortable in our environment here at Mary Kay Good. And our teachers really do spend a lot of time building routines, especially in the classroom. We don't expect kids to walk in the door and pick up where they left off. We know that there's been some time off over the summer, and getting those routines back is important, and not only building routines, but especially this year and after coming off the times that we've had, is building relationships. That is a focus for us for this year, is really building relationships and reconnecting our relationships with each other and with our students. And it's such an important piece of educating our children today. Next slide, please. So on morning arrival, our buses arrive out back, and our students enter the building at 8:40. If the weather is nice, the students are come off the buses, and we have lines that are painted outside, and the students wait outside for that bell to ring at 8:40. In inclement weather, they will come into the building, and we have an area that they will wait in before proceeding to their classrooms upon the bell at 8:40. Drop-off is at the front of the building, and it also starts at 8:40. We ask that when dropping off, you pull up. There's a white line that's painted, because I'm pointing like you can see me. There's a white line painted at the end of the drop-off, and I'll be standing there waving. We ask that if you're dropping off and it's your turn, just pull all the way up. We try to get as
Lisa, I think you muted yourself.
Sorry.
There you go.
I hit the mute button by accident, so let me start. Sorry about that. So you want to drop off. When you drop off in a car, you want to pull all the way up to a white line that's painted on the pavement. I will be standing there. We try to get at least 6-7 cars in to drop off at once. It does maximize the number of students that are able to exit and enter the building at one time, which makes the process go a little bit faster. We do have staff that it's outside. We ask that you don't get out of your car. We are there. We can open the door. We know we have a lot of child locks on doors. We're there to assist and help families and students with drop-off, but we ask that you not get out of the car. It just slows the process down with trying to get everyone dropped off at the same time. Once the students have been dropped off, they will enter the building and proceed to their classrooms. We will have lots and lots of staff in the hallway directing students to where they need to be. Next slide, please. So what does a day look like? So as I said, the academic day starts at 8:50. We will have a school-wide intervention block from 9 to 9:30, and I will talk a little bit about that later on. Each grade has a 45-minute special, which is art, music, computers, phys ed, each day. We run on a 6-day cycle to determine our specialist schedule, and you will receive those schedules from your classroom teachers to know what day is sneaker day or what day we have music, what day we have art. So it's different for every class, so that will be coming from your homeroom teacher. Each class will have an assigned lunchtime, and breakfast and lunch will be free to all students this year. Next slide, please. On the first day of school, grades 1 and 2 will be getting their PIN numbers. Now, I know I said that lunch is free and breakfast is free. However, if students do want to purchase snacks at lunch, they will need to have their PIN number. We will have those on the first day of school. And I know some of our older kids may not have used a PIN last year, so they may not remember it. No worries. Our teachers will have a list of those numbers, and we will be giving those out, and students will have those if they choose to purchase snacks. And we will be continuing to use the same system, which the school bucks, which you can access through the website. Teachers will have snack times in their classrooms. Each teacher will determine the snack time that best fits their daily schedule in their classroom. Students are encouraged to bring a snack every day. It's a long day, so we try to make sure that if you have a lunch time, that's an early lunchtime in the morning, that snack is built into the afternoon, and vice versa. If you have a late lunch, we try to do the snack in the morning. Every class has a 20-minute recess during the school day, and teachers will be also allowing for additional time outside for break time throughout the school day. Next slide, please. So our curriculum. So we follow the Leslie Literacy Model, which we call LLC, and it's an instructional framework that supports the teaching model that's built on time for authentic work in reading, writing, language, and word study. This has been going on now for, I think it's been 5 years, if I can remember correctly, 4 or 5 years that we've been committed to the Leslie model, and it's really been impressive to watch. And we have coaches. We have Mrs. Randall moved from a grade 1 classroom, and now she is a reading specialist, and will be working with some intervention with students, as well as working with our teachers with coaching. Highly trained coach Lori LeBlanc was also a highly trained coach and working with our teachers in grades 3 through 5. Our teachers have received over these last few years an immense training in the area of literacy, and it's exciting to continue to watch the program grow. And it's really about students' choice and what students really enjoy reading and what they enjoy writing about. And it's really created a blossoming of students really wanting to read and to write. In math, we use our Envisions math program as our core program for instruction, along with math workshop model to deliver differentiated instruction in small group learning environments. Next slide, please. Discovery Ed has now partnered with Mystery Science, and it's not only web-based. The Discovery Ed piece of this is web-based, which a lot of the reading text is web-based. And this is fantastic since we are going one-to-one with grades 1 to 5. So each student will have a device to use in the classroom. So they will be able to access much more than they have in the past with instead of just center-based computers. The Mystery Science piece, Dr. Gates purchased Mystery Science kits, which are amazing, and they'll be for hands-on activities throughout the course of the school year. Our social studies standards are embedded and incorporated within our ELA curriculum. So the state has done it this way because it's the biggest bang for your buck for social studies to really pair our social studies readings and writings with our ELA curriculum. We also have ST Math, which I know some of our families are familiar with. It's an online visual instructional program that leverages the brain's innate spatial temporal reasoning with the ability to solve math problems. So in easy terms, it takes the language out of math. For many of our students that are struggling readers, that becomes an issue and a barrier to really understanding the foundational math concepts. This allows students to really learn, and it's through puzzles, it's through it. Many of you will learn about Gigi. He's a penguin, and you're going to hear a lot about Gigi this year. And it's solving problems without language. And for some kids, yes, it can be a little frustrating, but they really, really learn the concepts through this spatial temporal. And it's amazing that then we take that and transition that to what we're learning in the classroom, where we actually put the language with the concepts. And students are able to make those connections, those brain connections, much faster once they've had this type of program introduced to them. Next slide, please. Next is Lexia, and it's an adaptive blended learning program that accelerates the development of literacy skills for students of all abilities, helping them make that critical shift from learning to read, learning to read for reading to learn. Now, these two, the ST Math and the Lexia, are not, when we say our intervention block, which I had mentioned earlier is 9 to 9:30, I use that term, but it's really to accelerate learning as well. And that's why I'm committed to the 9 to 9:30 block. ST Math and Lexia are both programs that can provide intervention at the same time as accelerating learning for students or enrichment learning for students if needed. And it also allows time for teachers to meet with students in a small group that really need some really in-depth intervention in small group. So that will be, these two will be utilized kind of on an every other day schedule or a system that works well for the teacher in the classroom. So these two programs, like I said, are not only for intervention, but also to excel and enrichment choices. Our common choice this year is something new to us that our staff will be receiving training. And this program provides instruction for our students to increase inner resilience, reduce the impact of stress management and emotional response, learn self-control, and increase their sense of well-being. We know coming off of the time during COVID, social emotional learning has impacted many of our students, even before COVID, but even especially now. So we really have taken a deep dive and a really researched some programs, and that not only, and this program isn't to teach this to students, but it's also to teach this to the adults in the school, which I that's what I really love about the program, that it's for everyone in the building, to really be mindful of feeling good about yourself and having responses, appropriate responses to the world around you. We will continue with our Character Strong, which is building our students' character development with focused words of the month. And I know many of you know we have words such as compassion and kindness and empathy throughout the year, and that's our monthly focus word for the month. Next slide, please. Some of the assessments that are given is our benchmark assessment system, and that's given beginning, end, and sometimes middle, depending of the year. And we use that to assess the students to find their reading level, and that way we can better prepare our students for what they need within a small group or for individual lessons that may need to be taught during that time. Our STAR 360 in ELA and math, those are given fall, winter, spring, and they are benchmark assessments that allow us to look at the standards as a whole and where students are excelling in certain standards and where we may need to go back and address certain missed opportunities in standards. Our writing, that is a focus for us this year, and we will be looking at student work writing throughout this course of the school year, and really having some professional development through our coaches in the area of writing to improve writing across all content areas. Running record is also part of our ELA, and that's to progress monitor our students to check for phonemic awareness and fluency, making sure we're making the gains that students need to make. Excuse me. Student work, that is our most valuable. Assessments are great, but it's a snapshot in a day, in the moment of a life of a child. Student work is crucial because it's ongoing, and it gives a bigger picture of what that student looks like. Our unit assessments, of course, looking at our math, especially our science, and looking at the end of the unit. What do the students know prior to the unit starting? What do they know at the end of the unit? And was there a missed opportunity that we need to go back and reteach, or maybe do a mini lesson for students that didn't pick up a concept at the end of a unit that is crucial to their learning for the next level of learning. Next slide, please. Homework. The first thing I'm going to tell you about homework, Please, families, do not stress about homework. And I will tell you why. Yes, homework is an extension of the school day. Yes, we have homework. This is kind of an average time of what students should spend on homework. I say that. I'm a mom. I've had a child with homework for a long time. And I get that there's times when homework comes home and a student hits that frustration, does one problem, two problems, writes one sentence, writes two sentences, and is done and is spent, or doesn't understand a concept. It was maybe there's a misconception that happened. It's okay. We don't need to have the child in first grade sit for 30 minutes to struggle. Send an email to the teacher, put a sticky on the homework. You know, my child tried and is struggling with this. We would want to know that rather than not know and just assume the child knows what they needed to do. If they're really struggling on the homework, it's okay. Put it away. Write us a note. Let us know my child was struggling, was not able, did not understand this concept. That way we know as educators that we need to kind of go back during the school day, and maybe your child may not be the only child that has that misconception. So we may need to pull a small group or even pull your child individually to maybe look at something else to kind of redirect, reteach where that misstep happened. So there's no stress about homework. Just be in contact with the teacher regarding if there is a problem with something that your child is struggling with during homework. Next slide, please. Communication. These are just 3 simple ways. We have a Tuesday folder that goes home with, district information, PTA information. Emailing myself, assistant principal, teacher is the easiest way to get to us. Phone calls during the school day. I can't always guarantee you I can speak to you during the school day. Same with teachers. They're teaching. That's their main job. So if sometimes it's hard to talk to a teacher during the day. Email is easier. I do send home the MKG Messenger weekly. I know some of you did receive a messenger with this link. Those go home Friday, pretty much every Friday. I send them home at 4:30, and I do 4:30 because that way the school day is ended and buses are home. I do that because as again, I'm a mom, and you get that email at 2:00 and you panic. So we don't want any of that. So I send it home at 4:30. School day's over. The weekend's about to start. I send it as an email. I send a link as a text message. I also post it on Twitter, on the Twitter page for Mary Kay Good, and I post it on Facebook as well. So those are 3 ways. Some teachers do have web pages that they've created. Some teachers set up their private Facebook pages for different classrooms. That's up to their teacher's discretion, but teachers will let you know their best way to communicate in their welcome letters that they do send home on the first day of school. Next slide, please. Safety, always. This is so important, so important. And although I'm not talking about the masking piece at this point and the social distancing, as I mentioned at the beginning, I will tell you student safety is our #1 priority. We do have school expectations and classroom expectations for all students. School rules and expectations are in the student handbook, which will be posted online. Teachers list their classroom expectations in their classrooms, or some teachers will put them in their open house packets that will go home at the end of September. We also have at Mary Kay Good what's called town meeting. We try to do them monthly, sometimes on those short months with vacations and Christmas and all. We don't get to a town meeting, but town meeting is a way for us to bring the whole grade level together and talk about the expectations, talk about different things per grade level. The expectations for first grade are not the same as expectations in 5th grade. So we really like to differentiate those expectations by grade level, and we're able to do that during our town meeting time that will be scheduled during the school day. Safety drills are reviewed with each class at the start of each school year. That's intruder or lockdown or fire drills. Those are all reviewed, and they're reviewed in multiple areas, because if your child is in their classroom and their classroom teacher reviews the fire drill, great. But your child may be in the cafeteria, or your child may be in a special if there is a fire or a fire drill or a lockdown or a stay put or any one of those things. So we do talk about it in every area, so that way children know what the expectation is if something should happen in these different areas. Even what happens in a hallway. We have students that may be doing an errand I don't know what that is, Sean. We may have a student that's in a hallway or something. So we discuss where to go and what to do in case that happens. Next slide. So arrival on the bus. We do encourage all of our students to take the bus. Grade 1 students, you should have received a letter which included a homeroom lanyard. If you are a new grade 1 student to MKG and you've not received one, you can email myself or you can give Mrs. Cronin a call, and that will be we'll certainly take care of that for you. We ask that your child wears this lanyard for the first few weeks of school. It helps us to identify where they're going to be. They will also be receiving a bus tag that we're going to tie that to their backpack on the first day of school. So at the end of the day, you did fill out your surveys, and if you haven't, please do so. We take those surveys and we fill out the bus tags. So every child, even if you're a drop-off, gets a bus number. So we just assume you're taking the bus unless you tell us differently. And at the end of the day, on the first day, those bus tags are filled out. So if you're a walker, if you're a pickup, we'll know that your child's a pickup and isn't taking the bus. So it's very important that you get that information to us so we can get those bus tags completed and tied onto the backpacks the first day of school. And we ask that you leave those on because it's very important. We have it Monday, and don't worry if your child goes, is a pickup on Monday and champions on Tuesday and bus on. We write it all out Monday through Friday where each child's going to go on their tag. The teachers in first grade and for new students, they do walk them to the buses for the first few weeks of school. So we don't just open the door and assume they know where they're going. We do have a system that we're able to walk students to the bus during the first few weeks of school. The bus arrival, again, I explained that, will be smooth because we have so many staff members to help. Next slide. Again, drop-off begins at 8:40. You'll see me. I'll wave. Come up. You'll have no problem. Just we ask that if you drive up, just try to make it as quick as possible. Have students kind of backpack in hand. Door opens, they exit. No families are allowed to walk to the student's classroom, not even the first day. This is for safety and security reasons, so that will not be allowed. And we're just trying to make this as smooth as possible. We have 10 minutes to get 610 students in the building. So it can be done. I promise it can be done. Next slide, please. So please, I know I mentioned it, please, very important to get your form filled out. It's very helpful for us for a smooth dismissal at the end of the day on the first few days of school. Next slide. I just went over a bus dismissal, that the grade 1 teachers will be walking their students. The buses park in the same place each day, so students learn that where their bus will be, and they learn how to find their bus number. The teachers point all of that out. We also have safety coordinators that are out there. The safety coordinators are around to assist students that may be confused if they're new to the building. We have lots and lots of staff that are outside to assist our students at bus dismissal. Next slide. Dismissal pickup. This is very, very important. This number one slide, this number one bullet is very, very important. We have a gate out back. You'll be picking up in the entrance across from Hannaford's, which is what we call the back of the building. That gate, there is a gate there. It does not open until 3 o'clock. The reason for this is we have students that are outside in the playground until that time, and it is a safety concern to have cars driving through with students on the playground. The Middleborough Police has asked that you not stage your cars on the road outside of this area. It is a traffic concern. You're more than welcome to park across in Hannaford's, or I think there's an Ocean State job lot there or something. You can certainly wait there if you get here early for some reason, but that gate does not open until 3 o'clock. You'll come around the oval and you'll park out behind MKG, behind what's considered the outdoor classroom. And you'll come up. Please make sure you have an ID. Dismissal begins around 3:20. We will not dismiss a child without an ID. Once we get to know you, if Auntie Sue picks up every single day and we learn Auntie Sue, then we won't ask for the ID eventually. But at the beginning, some of our fifth graders, if it's the same parents and it's the same people, that they may recognize you. But please make sure you have an ID. We will not, and I'm out back, I will not dismiss a child without an ID. I can't do that, especially if we don't know you. If Auntie Sue's going to pick up and Auntie Sue's never picked up before, please make sure that we have her on the list, because we will need to double check her ID with who's on the dismissal. If Auntie Sue is not on the dismissal list, Auntie Sue will not be taking your child until we call and verify that with you, that Auntie Sue is allowed to take your child. This is for safety concerns. We are very, very strict with this. And it's important for all of our students to be safe at the end of the day. If you happen to have to dismiss your child during the school day, I know emergencies happen. We ask that you send a note with your child. We need that in writing. If Mary has a doc's appointment at 12 o'clock, we ask that you send that note in the morning. We will not dismiss your child from class prior to that. So when you arrive, just know your child will not be sitting in the office. We will call for your child. This maximizes their learning time, because sometimes things run late and parents run late, family members run late picking up, and we don't want a child sitting in the office for 15 minutes when that's 15 minutes of learning that they could be having. So we'll just allow for that time for your child to be picked up. But let us know in the morning. It just makes the process a little easier. The teacher kind of expects that somewhere around 12 o'clock, the child will be picked up. I know emergencies happen. I get it. We try to limit those with the phone calls in the middle of the day I need Johnny to go home, as a walker today instead of a bus. We try to limit those because, and especially if that does happen, earlier the better. Again, I know emergencies. I get it. But as soon as you know, please let us know. If your child has an appointment, we try to not dismiss in the office. Between 3 and 3:20 is a very busy time in the office, and we try to not dismiss at the office at that time. We ask if you can delay that and pick up at the pickups. It does help us immensely to do that. Next slide, please. Dismissal of walkers. The students will be walked by our safety coordinators to Mayflower Ave or to Mitchell Street. Someone must be there to pick up the student. We don't just let them walk home. The walkers exit the building after the buses leave to ensure safety, that students are not getting in the way of buses rolling out. Please be sure, once again, whoever's picking up your walker at those two locations, that you do have an ID. You will be asked for an ID that's picking up your child as a walker. Next slide, please. Updating information. This is so important. And I know this because I know some of our families have changed emails even over the summer, because I got kickbacks from the emails that I used to send out the invitations. So during the year, I know things change, but please make sure you update the information with us. If your address changes, you have to fill out a change of address form, which is located on our district's website. If you change your phone number, crucial that you update that with us. If a child gets sick and we need to contact you, we want to have an accurate number. Emergency contacts. What I will advise you, please don't put an emergency contact that's not an emergency contact. Meaning, if grandma lives in Michigan, grandma can't pick up the child if they're in Michigan. It's kind of a long commute. So we ask that you put people on the emergency contact that can actually pick up the child if in case of an emergency, or that is going to be, if grandma comes to visit and is going to pick up the child, then just let us know and we can make arrangements for that. But please put people on the emergency contact that actually can pick up the child. If you change your email, please update that, because that's how I communicate all my newsletters, is via email. So if you're saying I'm not getting an email, then let me know, because I need to double check that email. It's so very important that emails are accurate. One period or slash or dash that's missed, you won't get the emails, and it's so important that is we have that communication via email. Most importantly is court documents. Things happen throughout the course of the school year. Custody changes. Restraining orders happen. I'm not judge, jury, or executioner. It's not important to me, except for the fact that my number one job is to keep your child safe. If that should happen and a restraining order is filed or custody changes, your first thought from court is right here. We need to know that, because if there's a custody change that happens at 11 o'clock in the morning and we don't know about it and it's dismissal, and that parent shows up and I don't have the court documents and there's no notification, that child goes with that parent. I don't have the information. So if that should happen, you can even call me when you walk out of court, call me and say, I'm on my way. I have an updated court custody agreement. I have a restraining order. I have whatever it needs to be. So that way we know that we need to hold that child, or we can be aware of the situation. It's so important for us to have that. If you have a court document already on file with us, please make sure it's current. They do run out, and we don't keep track of a restraining order that runs out. So if you've had a restraining order that ran out over the summer and you have a new one, we need that updated. So please make sure you drop that off to us. Very, very important that we have those documents prior to the start of school. Next slide, please. First graders, I know this is always, and actually new students too, I guess, but especially first graders, because they're coming from many cases from the MEC, or many of our students are coming to school for the first time. And what happens? So I just want to speak to our first grade families for a minute. Our first grade teachers are amazing, and they accompany our students everywhere. They walk them to recess, they walk them to the lunchroom, they walk them to specialists, they walk them to the bathroom, they walk them to the library. Everywhere they go, they are escorted by an ESP, which is our educational support staff, or a teacher. They're never kind of left to their own devices. If at the beginning of the year there's an emergency with the bathroom, they may go with a buddy. The bathroom is at the end of the hall, so that's not a problem. And the teachers kind of peek out the door so everybody knows where everybody's going, because the bathrooms are not in the classrooms at MKG. But we are aware it's a big building for some of our little people, and we make sure that they are very well cared for in the building and when they're with us. Next slide, please. So, perfect segue to the bathroom. Mary Kay Goodla, as I said, does not have bathrooms in the classrooms. They're located at the top of the hallways, and they are shared. We've moved, kind of just to give some leeway, we've moved our first grade classroom bathroom to in front of the office, just to alleviate some traffic in the bathroom. But we also know that there are emergencies that happen throughout the day, and the teachers take their classes to the bathroom a lot in the first grade, and especially at the beginning of the year. We know that they need to go a lot at the beginning of the year. There, as I say, they have the summer bladders. We gotta work up. But they do an amazing job. They have a great system with bathroom. They know that there's going to be emergencies, and we have a great system with that. And our upper grades, we started this last year, and just because of the situation, we started this, and we actually are going to continue it because we loved it so much. We have a tag system for the bathroom. Every teacher gets 3 tags, each classroom has this. Classrooms share bathrooms, but they have an assigned bathroom, and there's hooks outside of the classroom. So Mr. O'Brien teaches 5th grade. He has a girl's tag and a boy's tag. And so he has 2, actually he doesn't have he has a red tag, 2 red tags. He doesn't have a girl's room and a boy's room, I apologize. He has 2 red tags. So it's, 2 blue tags. That bathroom is the blue bathroom. So that way a student that has a red tag should not have a tag outside that bathroom. If there's 3 blue tags hanging, so 3 kids are in there from 3 different classrooms, a student has to wait outside until a student comes out, takes their tag. So there will be no more than 3 students in the bathroom at a time. This was helpful because what happens is you have 8 classrooms sharing a bathroom. You can end up with 8 students in a bathroom, which is not always safe, not always conducive. So now we've limited that to 3 students per bathroom. It worked out wonderful last year, and the teachers actually asked us to keep that in place this year. So we are going to do that this year. Our tags, we're calling it the tag system for the bathroom. So we're keeping that in place. Next slide, please. Nursing. Please be sure to update Mrs. Santos on, she's our nurse, with any changes in medical concerns that you may have. Please make sure that if you have medication to drop off, she's not here today, but you can certainly email her. And please also make sure if there's doctor's orders that are needed for medication, that you get those to her. We cannot dispense medication if we do not have a doctor's order for it. And this is so critical, very critical. Really any time, but especially now in the world we're living in, it's crucial to monitor your student before leaving for school each day. If your child is not feeling well, please keep them home. It's important for the health and safety of everyone that, and I know it's allergy season. I mean, you can listen to me, and I understand that. But if your child isn't feeling well, it's really, really important to keep them home. Next slide, please. Labeling. You will be amazed at what our lost and found stats to look like. Please make sure you label everything. We have so many coats that look exactly the same. We have so many lunch boxes that look exactly the same. So important, please label belongings, backpacks, jackets, sweatshirts, lunch bags, snack bags with your child's name, room numbers. We have some students with the same name. This is important because things get lost, and there's no way to know whose is whose once they get to the lost and found. So very important to label items that belong to your child. Next slide, please. Always very important being respectful, responsible, and ready at Mary Kay Good. We have a ticket system, so our students are able to earn tickets for showing this type of behavior, being responsible, being respectful, and being ready to learn. Teachers, myself, lots of us hand out tickets for when we catch students being good, and it's a great incentive program. Our students love it. They're able to buy or purchase items with their tickets at our school store, and our PTA has done an amazing job with that. I also instituted last year the golden ticket, which only I can give out, and that is for extraordinary cases of students. And I gave out quite a few golden tickets last year, and that allows a student that goes above and beyond in a certain situation. With things we've given out golden tickets for several reasons, and they're able to purchase one thing of whatever they want, and there are some amazing things in that school store, let me tell you, from the school store. So the golden ticket's pretty awesome. So very excited. Next slide, please. I cannot speak enough about the PTA at Mary Kay Good. Our president is Ashley Fiorini. Our meetings occur monthly. I know Ashley's putting together a schedule. It is a great way to get involved with the Mary Kay Good. I'm starting my 17th year as a principal, and I will tell you, and I have never worked with a PTAs since I've been at Mary Kay Good. Every PTA, every year that I've worked has been pretty amazing. The work that is done is Herculean at times. They're creative. They were extremely creative during our time of remote and hybrid and social distancing to have fundraisers, to be able to provide fun things for our kids to be able to do. And it's awesome. And I do encourage all of our families and friends to get involved with the PTA, because they do some really, really amazing work for our school. And I highly encourage you to become an active member. I don't even know where to begin. What they do for our kids and our teachers is beyond. I have no words. It's amazing work, and it's all volunteer. So many people have full-time jobs and are doing this. So it's amazing. So thank you to the PTA, and look forward to seeing new families join. To end today, and I know I have a question I need to answer in the chat, which I will do that. But this is something to remember. This quote always resonates with me every year when I start a new school year. And childhood is not a race to see how quickly a child can read, write, or count. Childhood is a small window of time to learn and develop at a pace which is right for each individual child. And it's so true. It really is individual children that we look at every single day. And it's about building relationships with every single child. Children that walk in the doors, now that I've got to see so many students go 1 to 5, go all the way through, and they walk in as first graders, and there's tears sometimes from the kids, mostly from the parents, but from the students sometimes. And then to watch those tears again in 5th grade because of saying goodbye. When you're in an elementary school such as MKG, this is the longest you spend in one place. 1 to 5 is the longest, and it really is a family. And our children are individuals, and we really grow to be a family. And it's an awesome experience. And all I can say is thank you for sharing your children with us. Thank you for allowing us to have this time with them. It's just an amazing experience. Yes, there's going to be days that are frustrating. Yes, there are going to be days, like I said, I'm a mom. My son's going to be 20. I'll be a mom forever. But I remember the days of the frustration in elementary school, middle school, high school. I remember when my mom would say, the days are short and the years are long. And that was no truer words are said. Students are amazing to me, and watching them grow is amazing. And I look forward to having all of our students at Mary Kay Good, and I look forward to meeting our new students and our new family members at Mary Kay Good. So welcome. The one question that is in the chat that I can see is, what is the average class size in grade 1? At this time, the average is in grade 1 is 23 approximately. Looking at it quickly, it's approximately 22 is average. There is about 21, 22 is about the average class size of grade 1 at this point. If you do have any follow-up questions, once this is over, please feel free to email me. It's lwhite@middleborough.k12.ma.us. I look forward, like I said, to meeting all of you in the near future. Very excited. I really just welcome aboard. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. I thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you out and about, as I say to my kids every day. We will see you out and about. Have a good day, everybody.